Welcome. This is the February 3rd, 2026 Essex Park School District R3 Board of Education special meeting. It is now 3:31 p.m. and this meeting is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Aaron, please conduct a board roll call.
Director Furey.
Here.
Director Kendall.
Here.
Director Shockett.
Here.
Director Widerski.
Here.
Director Wiss.
Here. Moving on to approval agenda. Board members have an agenda before you. This time I'll take any comments or amendment to the current agenda. Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the current agenda?
I move that we approve the current agenda.
Is there a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Aaron, please conduct a board roll call.
Director Furey.
Aye.
Director Kendall.
Aye.
Director Shockett.
Aye.
Director Widerski.
Aye.
Director Wiss.
Aye.
Ayes carry the vote. Agenda is approved. Moving on to agenda item 2, discussion items. Moving on to agenda item 2.1, introduction to demonstrations. Chair Reed.
Thank you. Well, it's nice to be here back in Estes Park. Tonight we have a long agenda, however, some of those items will just take a couple of moments to cover. And I'm understanding that the record for getting through a planning agenda with the board is 45 minutes.
Wow.
The worst record ever is like 3.5 hours. I don't think we're gonna be anywhere near there. So let's just put it out there. We're here for record-breaking time. Not really. We're not. The first thing I'd like to do is, I just want you guys to take a minute and introduce yourselves to me. I mean, I'm Brian Ewer, former superintendent of Littleton and Wood. I've been retired for 3 years. I've served in almost every capacity in public education that you can think of, except for special education director, which is maybe the toughest job. But I'd like to know who you are, a little bit about why you're choosing to serve. This is a incredibly difficult job that board members do, but it's also incredibly rewarding and it's complex. So tell me why. What is your why for being here? And then we'll get started on the agenda. Who wants to go?
If I can go first. So Brad Shockett, I'm here, I guess, mostly as a parent. So I have a elementary school boy, I have a middle school boy, and then my wife also is a science teacher at the high school. So yeah, kind of every step of the way there. And then, I just wanted to give back to the community, and so I ran for this position.
Great.
And more specifically on the hiring thing, so I have done a lot of hiring at my day job at like the corporate level.
Mhm.
So I think that might be some of the questions that I have, and feel free to, that's not how it works in education, but.
Maybe it should work that way. No, okay, we'll talk about that.
My turn?
Yeah.
I'm Frank Wojcicki. And, wonder where I start. Cause when I was going to high school and stuff like that, I just wanted to get through. I just didn't really think about it, or I just wanted to get through. I didn't care. I just wanted to get through. And when I realized after that, when you get back into the world, I realized that in school I should study harder and looked out for my future. And that's why I got in here, so I can see the kids don't make the same mistake I did.
Let's do
And I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus Christ, and we was at this meeting, and I called him Paul. You might Paul, my God, you might Paul, but he told me to run. So I did, I want to see the kids, not go through what I did.
Thank you for sharing.
And I'm Amy Kendall. I am a retired teacher, having taught kindergarten, first grade, second grade, fifth grade.
All of
And
it.
have a lot of leadership positions in the schools that I taught in. So a wide spectrum of children from poverty level that I taught with to children that didn't think they needed anything, but they needed a lot of love and support. So I saw 2 school board members come through our school in 25 years, our different schools. And that's not what a school board member needs to be about. They need to be involved. They need to know what's going on so that they can give their best to make decisions to benefit everyone. So that passion continued after I retired. The opportunity to run for the school board and stated that I've been there for 4 years and 3 months.
Great.
Very thankful. So I got this best we can give to our students and teachers, administrators, and community. And I feel like we are.
Great. Did you teach kindergarten?
Yeah.
I did 2 for 20 days. Long story short, 20 days, that was it.
But you're a special person
I'll-
for having done that for 20
I'll
years.
tell you that story another time. I didn't get fired, but it was, yeah, that was a challenge. God bless every kindergarten teacher.
Right.
Okay.
My name is Brenda Wiss and I work in local government, but I have a history of teaching English as a second language and being involved with education in different country. And I have 2 kids who came up to the schools in Estes, one very successfully and one not so successfully. We actually ended up moving him to an alternative school, so kind of seeing both sides of the coin. And I too wanted to give back to our community. We have an amazing community here. So once my kids had graduated from high school and were out of the house, I wanted to take this on. So here I am.
Great, thank you for your service.
I'm Stacy Freer. I'm mom of 2 kids. My kids started preschool here, graduated in 2020 and 2022. So I've been very involved in our school district since we've lived here. My kids went to school with our kids. Just been involved overall since preschool, always volunteered in the district. We have a great district, great community, and like similar to Brenda, it's time that I could give back at a more formal capacity to the school board, so I ran. This will be entering my 5th year.
Okay, great.
So,
Thank you for your service.
yeah.
Well, it is an incredibly demanding job and it is incredibly rewarding. And this is probably the most important decision that this board will make in your tenure together collectively. You know that. So we'll work through today. Feel free, this is wide open question time. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let's talk about them. If I can't answer them, and I think that I probably can, having done quite a few searches, I'll make sure that I talk with Mike, my colleague, and Dave, my colleague, and then we'll make sure that the questions get answered. But I think we can get through most of them today. So if we could bring up the working agenda on the big screen. And the reason that I've asked Aaron to have this on the big screen is it's going to be easier for us to reference, even though you might have it on your screen as well. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the Estes Park Board portal. Has everyone tried it?
Yes.
And have nobody struggled to get onto it yet or anything like that? There is one quirky thing that I would like to address. Aaron, if you wouldn't mind clicking on the portal link and bringing it up, and then roll your up in the upper right-hand corner of the document, just so we can see how they pop up. Okay, right there. You see that? When I was first introduced to this, I couldn't figure out why they wouldn't open up when I went to come. You have to go to that cute little gray thing there, it'll pop up when you click on it. So I just wanted to point that out. Right now, everything, all the documents on the portal right now, there's nothing on there that's confidential. That's why we can work in public on this document. It is locked down and only you, the board, and anyone else that you direct us to give access to has access, and Erin, because she'll have to be in there doing documents and building out the website and working with Stacy, we'll talk about just a little bit, working with the other Stacy. That's another confusing thing. We've got 2 Stacys on this search. We've got your Stacy and we've got our Stacy, so just so you know that. A couple of other things I want to point out to you on this is that not only do you have documents here, but you also have tabs. So these are the different stages of the search. And we'll kind of go through those later, but I just wanted you to know that if you click on propose, if you do that just for a second, it populates another whole section. So you'll see the contract, the agreement, you'll see the PowerPoint that we had and things like that. So you move across it here, and then down here are where all the documents are stored. This is where you will see every single one of the applications, qualified or not, that come in. We do the initial vetting and everything, but that doesn't preclude you from looking if you want to. You can look at everyone's resume, you can look at everyone's letters of reference, and those will be in a PDF document, they work the same way. Then will be in the, it's either in the, I think it's in the select, tab, I can't remember, but it's in one of those tabs and you'll see their resumes pop up. Do the same thing, you scroll across it, and then click on it, and it pops up. Okay,
Looks like it.
all right. Any questions on the portal? The other thing, go ahead.
Confidential information important.
Not right this second.
No, there's none yet.
No, there will be.
There will be, yes. So this is not a public
Just for
facing,
awareness,
Yeah.
exactly.
this is not a public facing portal except for today. Everyone here can see it, and I don't know if they can see it online, and that's fine, because all of these documents that you see that are public, they will be built out on your own search website. And what we recommend, and I think you've already been in contact with Stacy Ritchie, and she'll give you some examples of what websites look like. It's basically a website that has the entire search outline and every single thing that's happening, and any of the documents that are public facing can be housed there as well. So the public can have full transparency about everything that's happening. The only thing they can't see are those candidates as they come in until we get to the finalists, and we'll talk about that as well. Okay. All right, let's talk just then a little bit about how do we meet if we're not gonna meet in person. If you would go back to the original working. Yep, that one right there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is I've built a link specifically for the Estes Park Superintendent Search. So when we do our one-on-one interviews, whether you're talking with me or with Dave or with Mike, we will use that link. It is a Google Meet link. It is an open link. We've set the permissions so that your team is the moderators and that you guys have open access. We will also use this link for when it's time to do focus groups online. If the board chooses to have a virtual online focus group, we can use it for that as well. So just know that we'll be using that link throughout. I will tell you that if you run into any trouble, we are absolutely able to use Zoom as well. It's not a problem, but we try to establish one link for an entire search. That link will be open all the way through June 30. I think we'll be done by June 8. So. Okay, so we've had introductions. We talked about the link. We talked about the portal. Let's scroll up just a little bit, and I just need consensus. Everything that we talked about today is all about consensus. To make sure that who I should be contacting and who I should be talking with.
So Brian, let me, as we're
Yep.
moving, we need to announce agenda items.
What's that?
As
Oh, I'm
we're
sorry.
moving through, I have
Sure.
to announce
No,
agenda
I'm
items so the public knows.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna move on to agenda item 2.2, contacts during the search.
Okay. So during the search, and Stacy and I have already been in close contact, and Aaron and I had some emails. I just need consensus from the board. Is that the way we want to continue to work? Aaron and I and Mike and Dave and Stacy will work behind the scenes to make sure that she has everything that she needs to post or to send out. If there's someone else that you want us to work with as well as Aaron, that's fine too. Like when we do an email blast with the survey or something like that, if that's Aaron, fine, or, okay. So our two primary.
Email and, web, that
Okay,
would go right to Aaron.
well, if we come across something that you're like, that's not your responsibility, just tell us who she's.
I'd like to know when we find that. Just kidding. That was-
You are in charge. So, okay, so we'll just continue on with that, if that's what the board, would like, and that's typically what we do. We work with the board president, and we work with the board secretary or the admin. So, okay, that's handled. And you want to, let's see, this is still, we're still on the, oh, scroll down just a little bit more. We're still on the same agenda item.
Aren't we still on two?
So agenda item 2.3, board email addresses, HYA search contact information.
Yes. One other thing, there is a contact sheet that Aaron has, that we will want to have all of your, cell phone numbers if you don't mind. We do not release them to anybody. That's just for your search team. Along, we have your email addresses. And we'll communicate with you mostly, via email. And, once in a while, we might have to have a phone call. But for updates on the search, we will actually have a section on the portal where you'll get your updates usually we do it every Friday. and we tell you what's going on through the entire search. Kind of the highlights, if you will. So it's probably a paragraph or two on what's going on. So you're always aware of what's going on. You can always check in there. If you have any questions along the way, you can call me. I almost will always pick up unless I'm on the phone or sleeping or swimming. So, but I will always get back with you within just a few hours, if that's okay. Okay, let's scroll up just a little bit.
A quick note,
Yeah.
my email address is correct, the left side has extra C at it.
Can you correct? You have
No,
that?
I can't, I don't have anything actually.
Okay.
The important part, the email address is correct.
Okay, is it SCH?
Nope. That's the.
Right on. How about that?
Yep.
Okay, look at that, real time. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's scroll down to the HYA team. I think we're still on the same agenda item. If you can't get a hold of me for some reason, you always have the opportunity to call Mike. He is the vice president of the Midwestern and Rocky Mountain region. And he's also very involved in the search. As a matter of fact, I spoke to him about an hour today, just about how we're doing and about this afternoon's meeting. Dave, he's online. Feel free to call him at any time. You probably won't need to have any contact with Danielle. She's back at the office project manager. She's just managing that we're always on track with the project. So she's more of our resource, but she's there available to you if you need her. And Aaron probably will have contact with Stacy. Stacy does all of the gyrations behind the scenes to build out the portal, to make sure all the documents are in the right place and to make sure that they're posted in a timely manner. And she will also be working with Aaron in relationship to the posting, making sure it's going out to the right places from the district. We have our own postings going out as well. And so you'll get to know Stacy real. She's incredibly efficient and she gets stuff done fast. So it's great to have her on our team.
Does the portal tell you when something's changed? Does it say when there's new documents
I
or?
don't think so. No.
Okay.
I would at least check in there when things really get happening. I would check in there maybe at least every other day, but at least every week. Check for that Friday update, and then you'll know what's going on. That's the blurb that'll say, hey, this is going on. Okay. I don't think we have the ability to flag the members of the portal when there's a change made, but that's a great question.
Or new documents or when it was posted, dates or anything like that, so you can just see what's changed.
Yeah, let me ask. Okay, good question. Okay, Board President, I would have you introduce the next section.
Agenda item 2.4, review search process.
Okay, I'm gonna jump down now to the very end of this document, and this is gonna be in general terms. We're gonna come back and talk specifically about the items, but I wanna go clear down to the planning document where there's dates for everything that happens. Go clear to the bottom. Keep going. Right there. Okay, let's start here. So what I need now is just general consensus about the calendar, the timeline, and the activities that are going to take place. You may want to check your calendars as well if you have anything that's looming out there. Remember, the board doesn't have to be at everything. Matter of fact, we would encourage the board not to be at the focus groups. Our experience is when we have board members at a focus group and involving themselves at that level, it changes the dynamic and it changes the conversation in the room, like it or not. It doesn't matter how much trust you have in the community, it just does. I can give you a very specific example where we had one board member who sat in the middle of a focus group and there was about 50 people in the room and nobody wanted to talk. And he was a good guy, but nobody wanted to share some of the things that they wanted to share. So it was very, very uncomfortable because we had all of these people with things to say. Nobody wanted to say anything. So I would encourage you, give us your thoughts and everything, but the focus groups belong to the stakeholders. So let's take a look at this schedule. Any of this can change. It can change tonight after we reach consensus. But I want to talk just about generally the process. So we've already, we're meeting tonight to go over everything. We'd like to post the position as soon as possible. Now I have February 9th, but if we can agree on the posting tonight, we can post it as soon as I can get it to Danielle at the head office. So we want to post it as soon as possible. We would like to leave it open through March 20th. That gives us a very long time, particularly if we post it this week. So think about that, and then when I walk through all this, then if you have questions, please ask. We will continue to vet and screen as applications come in, and as we do that, you will see those applications posted in the portal. By February 15th, we would like to have all of our individual interviews done with you, which is really done by a Google Meet link, where we'll sit down and we'll spend about 30 to 40 minutes with you and ask you about 3 or 4 questions, and just have a dialogue. It'll be either me or Dave reaching out to schedule those. We'd like to get those done before the 15th.
Is that done individually or?
Those are individual, yeah. We would also like to have permission to interview individually your current superintendent. That really gives us some really good insight on past, present, and future on the school district. We would like that as well. It's really valuable if we can interview Aaron as well individually, but that's again up to the board. And then anybody else you would like to have an individual interview for. Usually it's at the executive level, but in a smaller district, sometimes we can interview individual principals if you'd like. I think you have 2. As we get into the focus group discussions, we can have groups as well. So we can interview the 2 principals or 2 principals in the APs or whatever you want, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So think on that. We would like to have those interviews all completed by the 15th, especially the individual interviews. So we don't have a date for the in-person stakeholder focus groups, or if we want to do some virtual ones, or if we want to do a Saturday one. And you don't need to be there. So we don't need a date from the Board of Education other than if you want to provide counsel to myself and to Aaron about when would be a good time for that. Because we're happy to do it whenever. But it also means that Aaron will have to check the school schedules. Like, is there sports? Is there music? Is there drama? Is what's going on in the district? We don't want to interfere. We don't want to interfere at any great level with any activities that are going on. So it's going to take us looking deeply at the calendar for that 1 or 2 days that we do focus groups in the district. So we'll come back again to the focus group conversation in just a little bit. So we need a date there. We want to open up the online survey. If you've had a chance, we have the draft of that. That's a pretty standard survey that we always do. If you want to add a question or 2, that's fine as well. The more length that you put into a survey, the fewer respondents we get. So we try to keep it fairly simple, but think about that. We'll come back to that in a minute. We can open that as soon as we reach consensus this evening. If you don't have too many changes or complex changes, we can probably get that out this week as well. And we can leave it open for a significant amount of time, probably through, we have a date here somewhere, March something, I think. We would like to have all of the stakeholder groups and focus groups done by March 3rd. We would like to close the online survey February 27th, if not maybe just a few days earlier so that we can compile all of the data, but February 27th would work. We want to be here on March 10th, if that works for the Board of Education. You guys have a work session. And at that meeting, we would like to present the district leadership report. It typically doesn't take more than 20 minutes, but you guys may have questions, so it can dribble into 30 or 40 minutes as well. There's no action to be taken. You don't have to approve the report. Matter of fact, we don't ask the board to approve the report because it's the data that we've gathered from the community. So as you giggle, I'll give you an example. We had a board member in a particular district who said, I don't want that published because it reflects poorly on the Board of Education's collaboration. Yeah. Yeah, that's what everyone said. And we're not going to, not say what the community said. So that was an interesting conversation. But we will share all of the highlights of that report at the what did I say? March 10th, if that works for the board. You can always schedule special sessions if you want to as well. Then you guys have spring break, I believe the 13th to the 20th. Then, remember, we are in the background interviewing, and we're continuing to screen down, and we're ranking all of the candidates as they come in, and we're really placing them in 3 different tiers. The top tier being, the top candidates, second tier, they're good, but maybe they're not as good as the first. And then the tier three candidates probably really aren't qualified, to be here in Estes Park. We will bring you, our hope is to bring you, the slate, on March 23rd. And I believe that is a scheduled board meeting. That would have to be and required by law to be an executive session. We're not allowed to release, semifinalist names in Colorado until we get to the naming the finalists, okay? On April 7th and 8th, I threw these dates in there because, it seemed to work with the schedule. We can change these around. It could be a full day on Saturday. But once the board agrees on the slate, then we set up those first round interviews. If they're local to Colorado, typically they would want to drive here and be in person with the board. If they're not, we invite them to do that by a Google link or by Zoom. It's standard that boards do not pay for candidates to come for the first round interviews. And we can talk about that in just a little bit when we talk about that. But standard practice would be if you're making the slate of 6, you're on your own. Happy to give you a Google first round interview if you'd like that, okay? The reason that I have April 7th and 8th or Saturday, April 4th is interviewing 6 people makes for a very long day. It's really nice to do it on a Saturday when everyone's relaxed and their, phones aren't going off and you've got work responsibilities and kid responsibilities maybe. So maybe that Saturday works, maybe it doesn't. If we do it during the week, I would recommend 2 chunks of maybe 3 hours each, like on the 7th 3-hour block of time during that day, and then on the 8th 3-hour block of time. So it's really under the purview of the board as to what you want that to look like and feel like. We did a Saturday at a district because that's when everyone could get together, and it worked really nicely. It was very low key. People were away from the district, and the 6 candidates were able to come in and still be remain confidential, etc. So we can talk about that as well.
Do the candidates prefer one or the other, or?
As a candidate myself, several times, I always wanted to be there in person. So that was just my prerogative.
Saturday would be easier.
Saturday would be easier because I wouldn't have to take out work. But, it's really up to the board. If people want to be here, they're going to make arrangements to be here or to at least be on Zoom for that first round. So day in the district, April 15th. So when we finally name the finalists, those become public. All that information will go out on your website to the newspapers and all of that. And then we invite them to the day in the district and we tour them around. We have opportunities for them to do a meet and greet and a Q&A with the community, and that's where the community gets to ask their questions, and then they can provide feedback in real time via a QR code or via email to the Board of Education directly in real time. It's pretty powerful. So while you may not be in the room watching these interactions with the community, people are hammering the spreadsheet, and you can be at home in your slippers watching the feedback as it comes in, which is pretty fascinating. So right now we have April 15th. It doesn't have to be that date. I just threw it in there. The reason that the 16th and the following day is the final interviews with the Board of Education in public and live streamed, so that there's nothing that the community can say, why did you do it in secret? What's going on behind closed doors? This is a fully transparent process. So we would set it up so that one candidate at a time would be meeting with the board, and you guys would be asking your questions. Those interviews can talk about that, can be even an hour, hour and 15, even an hour and 30 minutes. Really depends on what you guys want to do there. So, and then after the final interviews, some boards like to get done with the interviews and they post a meeting and they come out, they discuss the 3 candidates and they'll have a motion. So, or you can do it at another time. If you want to be reflective about it and go home, sleep on it, you can do that as well. But that has to be done in public as well. And we have some strategies for talking about each of the candidates, even though 2 of them won't be successful, about what that might look like in public. So, and then the contract will begin July 1. There are some districts who want those superintendents to be on early if they can, if they're per diem. That's a discussion between you and the new superintendent to maybe be here a few days before, or maybe even, you know, if they're hired in April, come, you know, a few days in May and June, whatever. So that can be done as well. So that's kind of the overall schedule. We're gonna go back and drill into some of that. Does anyone have any concerns about the dates or comments about just the process in general? What you like, what you don't like, any concerns?
I like it.
And the day in the district, that's another one where, as the board, we should watch from afar.
Yes, yes, unless you can be well, you're just a small town. No, everyone-
Yeah.
However, there'll be opportunities and we'll plan out the day in the district. So it might be that, a board member wants to take, a candidate to lunch or whatever. We work that out so that it feels really comfortable for the candidates. And remember, they're all here in the district the same day, which can be awkward. So we figure out a schedule working with Aaron and the community as to what's gonna work and where we can, have these meet and greets and these Q&As. So that they get a good sense of the community. We'll drive them around the community, we'll get some of your administrators or principals to give them a tour, you know, show them the highlights of the community, not just the school community, but if they're not from this area, maybe this will be the, you know, the first time they've been to Estes Park. Can't imagine that. So there's lots of ways to do that day in the district that we'll flush out. Are any of the dates problematic? Nothing?
Straddling problematic, but so far. Yeah.
Right, like, again, we have day jobs,
Yeah,
so
right.
it's more of the timing during the day,
Yeah.
and, you know, is it 3:30 like this, is it 5, is it 6, like, what is the right timing for balancing that?
Yeah,
And
so
so maybe through, we're gonna have to, Brian, speak about, the timing of the board and availability of the board. Absolutely, we gotta be conscious of that.
And those critical things up here, because again, you're not part of the whole process other than getting reports and things like that, is those board meetings and or special board meetings. The special board meetings can be planned by Stacy and myself, and she'll contact the board like, will this work? There's not a lot of special meetings on here. You know, the meetings that you have to be at are the work sessions, which is you be there anyway.
Yes.
And for the interviews, and so that's just really what we need to think about is, does that work for everyone's life schedule? You know, kids, grandkids, work.
I think something else that works well is final interviews on April 16th is a Thursday. We already have a board meeting the next Monday where we can take action.
Good, yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. We have a works, that month, I just pulled it up. We have a work session on April 14th at 3:30. And then our regular board meeting is at 5:15 on the 20th of April.
On the 20th.
Mhm.
So April 16th, if you guys were to call a meeting and conduct the final interviews, and we're really talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. I find that an hour-long interview is about,
Saturation point.
yeah, saturation for both the candidate and for the board. It's like, okay, I get you. You know?
Plus, they will have been really well vetted by the time they get to that point.
Right, right. The April 16th, final interview, and then you said April 20th is a board meeting where you guys can make a final decision. That works perfectly, if it works for everyone. And if we walk out of here and something blows up and we find out that a date doesn't work, we just have to get back together and figure out, well, I'll just work with Stacy to figure something else out. So let's tentatively think about, is that okay with everyone to go with that? April 20th, is the decision. And, then we're gonna go ahead and leave April 16th as the final, interviews, and then April 15th, which you really don't need to worry about, because that's really between HYA and Aaron and planning out what that day is gonna look like and feel like. Okay,
And April 16th, again, is that, you said 3 to 4 hours, so a long meeting, are we still thinking evening in there?
As long as we start at 3:30-ish.
Or later?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you wanted to start at 4, so the first candidate's at 4 to 5, take a little break.
Right, just trying to balance.
Yeah,
If it's too
right.
early, the community's still working. If it's too late, we're
Yeah,
just
too late.
Yeah. We can make whatever's best for everyone involved. Candidates and community.
So if you have a candidate at 4, then at 5:15, and then at 6:30, that's reasonable, both, if you started at 4 and we're done by, 7:30, probably.
Okay, that sounds good.
That's something.
Okay,
I'm sorry, did we confirm whether we want to do April 7th and 8th or the 4th
yeah, let's talk about that.
for the initial first round?
So
interviews?
my question is though, do we need to be talking about that detail when we get to items?
Yeah, we can,
Okay.
we can come back to it, because it's
Yeah.
also on the agenda as we need to make that decision,
Right.
so we'll come back to
So
that.
I want everybody to think about that, then when we get down to, calendar for search, 2/7, we can,
Thank you.
calendar is. Let me get back to the calendar, 2/16. We can think about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's go back, up to where we were, right at the top. Okay. We reviewed the process, we've landed on a couple of dates, but we'll come back and just, confirm those. The days of the district, for Dave and I and Mike, sometimes I'll be here, I'll probably be here every time just because of my proximity. But the days are the planning meeting, the
Yeah.
one day.
So are we moving on?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Search continue, yep,
Go ahead.
okay, so agenda item 2.5, Essex Park School District Search Consultants.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
The planning day, one day of the focus groups, however, if you guys want 1.5 or 2 days, again, I think I told, several of you that I'm very flexible and I'm happy to do more than the 1 day of focus groups if you guys need them, or a Saturday, it's not a problem at all.
Do you do that with your community? Do you get the community together, or how's that work?
Yep, we work with, Aaron and your, administrators to figure out what's gonna work best for the community and the locations and the times. So that,
There's a whole community.
right, the whole community. We have to broadcast those, we have to get those out on the website, you can blast them with your email system, all of that. We wanna work with the high school secondary principal to say, when can we come and talk to the kids? Cause we have a breakout session for them. We need to talk about what is the best time for our hourly classified employees, including bus drivers, so that they don't feel left out of the process. So we just need to be, when Aaron and I work on this, and it's really not the board responsibilities to figure out what is the best time and place to make sure that everyone has access. If that means that we have to double up and do an early morning with classified employees, fine, and then an after school, that's fine, and it's impossible to really solve the classified employees for an hour during the day, that's just doesn't make sense because of safety and security for our schools, but whatever's going to make sense, we'll work through those details with all of your administrators and with Aaron kind of helping us understand how the system works and what makes sense. And what locations too, it can be here, it can be at a school, it could be at a city facility, there may be other facilities, it could be the rec center. I don't know where the best places are, where people will feel comfortable gathering, to come and provide feedback at the focus group. First round interviews, day in the district, and then finally we just kind of talked about that. And I think we're ready to move on to the next item, unless there's questions on that.
No questions? All right, we're on to agenda item 2.6, confidentiality engagement in Colorado.
Yep, we've talked a little bit about this already, but pretty much, everything is public in Colorado, except for the names of the applicants up until us announce those finalists. We typically would want 3 finalists, sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 4. We'll talk about that when we get further down the road and what the board wants to do. And that's why it's so important for us to have, a search web page on your website. It can be very simple. It's another tab, superintendent search. It could be coming off the board tab or however you guys want to do it. But it really lays out the calendar once we agree to it. It lays out the job description. It lays out everything that we're talking about that's public, forward facing, if you will. So. There are some states and people that live in Estes Park may not understand this, where other states do it differently, where everything is completely done behind closed doors and nothing is public until they announce, oh, here's the person. That's not the way Colorado does it. Probably not the best way to do it, but that's the way some states work, so. Okay. I think we're ready to move on to the next one. Now,
All right. Agenda item 2.7, scheduled interviews.
Okay, so Dave and I will be in contact. We'll divide you up. And this is where we need to talk about, is there anybody else that needs an individual interview besides the Board of Education? And the current sitting superintendent? Those are really the requirements. We really need to talk to all of you individually and the current superintendent. Is there anybody else, or would you like everyone else to join a focus group? Which we'll set out and talk about in a minute.
And
Do you want a private interview?
I don't know.
It's up to the board.
I mean.
Does the board want me to have a friend?
Yeah, I think your position works closely with the superintendent and that could be very beneficial.
Okay, so I hear 5 board members, a superintendent, and the secretary to the board and the superintendent. Do you go by admin or secretary or both?
All of the above.
Okay.
So earlier you mentioned principals.
Uh-huh.
We have two, so do we want principals doing individual, we want principals in like a focus group with teachers and.
I'm gonna say focus group, but I got a thought on that, but we're not a focus group, so.
Okay.
I got a thought on that, but.
And kind of overlapping, we can just do an interview with 2 principals too. So we'll talk about that when we get there. I mean, that's considered a focus group. Yes, it's an interview with 2 people. But sometimes people, when they're together, they feel like they can play off of each other and you get a better interview. And sometimes you don't get shut down. So it depends on the relationship of those people as well. So, okay. Any questions about that? It'll take about 30, sometimes 40 minutes, depending on how much you want to talk and how much information you want to provide. Any questions on that? We will probably get back with you, so be watching for your email to try to schedule. What I typically do, and I'll ask Dave to do the same, we'll divide everybody up. And I'll just give you a whole slew of dates and times. Just pick one, it's fine. So, right, Dave, we can do the same?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we'll split it up and then we'll give you a number of choices and, we really want to drill as deep as we can in this part of the process.
It can be done by phone. I don't like doing phone interviews. I prefer to see someone's face and their expression. So if you would grant me that, if you would just do it via the Google Meet, that'd be great as well. But if you really want to do a phone, we can do that. So, all right, I think we're ready to move on to the next one.
So agenda item 2A, superintendent job posting and salary range.
Okay, let's go ahead and bring the job posting up. I did quite a bit of work on that this morning. If you haven't looked at it since then, it has been updated. We will have to talk about the salary in just a little bit, and I'll bring up another document that provides you with some kind of a measuring stick as to where you guys sit here in Estes Park on your superintendent salary currently and where some other districts sit. So basically, our job descriptions are pretty standard in that we talk a lot about the school district. There's a lot about the community in there. So you can see that Stacy and I, Stacy Ritchie, have worked a lot on trying to give the applicants a pretty good picture of what Estes Park is. Pulled lots of things off your website and also off the city website as well. And then if you scroll down, this is what I did this. We actually have your vision statement, the mission statement, the belief statements, right out of your strategic plan. And then what I did is I pulled as many district highlights and points of pride as I could possibly glean out of what you have posted, which is a lot, by the way. You have so much good information in your strategic plan. I mean, it's just so simple to grab information. And really, this is what I came up with. It doesn't mean we have to leave it like this. It doesn't mean that we can't add to it or subtract from it, but I want you guys to spend just a few minutes reading this. If this captures what you want applicants to see, we can leave it or we can edit it. So I'll be quiet now.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
In here, it talks about global outcomes. Is that okay that we're using that phrase, global outcomes, but we're not defining it? Meaning they can go look it up if they.
If you go back up to the higher one, I actually have it listed. Um,
Oh, there they are.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, paragraph, okay. Thank
pull,
you.
pull them right out of your strategic plan.
I'm just used to a list.
Yep.
So, got it. Okay.
Are there any concerns?
Oh, I have a few.
Okay.
Not concerns.
No, not concerns, just suggestions, because something that we focus on, which is why it's focus area number one, is our academic achievement and growth.
Uh-huh.
I think some of our highlights is, which is rare, we have a 10-point gain, and I don't, however it's said, 10-point gain accreditation rating and state accreditation rating in 2 years using our strategic plan.
Would you like to send that to me via email? Can you do that?
I can do all
Then
of
I'll,
this.
then I'll wordsmith it.
Yep. Hold on a minute. I have a few of them
Okay, yeah,
they can incorporate. Because we worked very hard to
Absolutely.
with that. Yep. Okay, I made a note of this. I know to do
Okay.
that. For public, I also put focus on student showcase of authentic learning. That's something in our 2027, so we'll have our students will be able to do showcases.
Okay.
Like capstone type.
and can you send that one to me as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then our perception survey, we have a 74% favorable responses from our families
Absolutely,
and 76% favorable responses from our students.
great.
So I just thought those were some highlights.
If you send me those 3 bullets, and I'll wordsmith them to fit in the context of the job description, okay?
And then we also, in addition to the seal of biliteracy, we also offer the climate literacy seal as well.
Oh, really?
Mhm,
You're one of the only ones in Colorado that offer that. That's amazing.
mhm.
I learn something new every day. That's awesome. Yeah, send me that too.
Okay.
Stacy.
Well, in addition to that.
Okay?
A lot to say.
So you're sending me 4 or 5.
I can send those
Okay, and, Stacy, if you want to add this to your list.
by list.
Okay, it's important that everyone knows we're committed to continuous improvement.
Okay.
Absolutely, that's a good one.
Yeah. Those are all excellent additions.
Ava, what did you say? We're what?
Committed to continuous improvement.
Academic improvement or
Everything.
improvement?
Yeah.
I love it, general. Okay,
Perfect.
Yeah, wellness.
yep,
If you could send those to me tonight.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're getting this thing going. Okay, any other additions? Okay. Oh, good.
Maybe I'd like to win.
Yeah. Let's now have a hard conversation around superintendent pay. It may not be that hard, I don't know. If you could pull up that spreadsheet that I brought on, that we have on a different tab.
Is it on this one,
No, I think it's under
or is
recruit.
it on here? Oh, is it this
Yeah,
one?
you can click, yep, everything's connected, yes. Okay, let me explain what I did here. Don't worry a whole bunch about the 21-22 enrollment. I just pulled that off of CDE because it was their best record in auditing school districts in the past. Everyone's in declining enrollment at the same rate, so don't worry so much about this. But what I did is I pulled every single district in the state of Colorado, first of all, to get their salaries, from the 24-25 school year. But specifically, I listed districts between 500 and 2,000. You guys are about 915 kids, I think. So if you'll scroll down, the smallest districts up here, and you can see what the salary ranges are. And then I banded Estes Park RE R3, and you're kind of in the center of these. If you'll scroll down a little bit further, this is where the school districts of 2,000 stop. So that's kind of the range. Everything from, and I'm not suggesting this, 175, but you can see like Eaton, 204. So there is a fairly large discrepancy. Aspen, cost of living, right. And plus the former superintendent there, he was something.
Big shoes to fill for sure, but that's kind of a cost of living adjustment.
Sure.
And you're
We know
seeing
that.
salaries are kind of ticking up around Colorado just because of the competition for superintendents. But
So as you look at this, this is a starting point. I think you're currently at 155. Is that right? I mean, you're behind here on this. So this is a conversation for the board. We'd like to have a range. Usually it's a $15,000 to $20,000 negotiable range. So that when you have a candidate come in, you start having that conversation between that range. In Colorado, we are required to post that range. I would suggest not doing what another district did, and they said somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000. That's
that's a
not helpful.
little big. That's a little big.
That's not helpful to the candidate to understand if that's a range that they would be in. It's not helpful to the district for budgeting. Yeah, so.
So I've been looking at numbers all around and everybody just toss out your ideas. I've been looking at like where we've been, where we come. I took a look at all of this. Looked at our previous job posting for our current superintendent. Looked at district salaries for administrators. We'll take a look at that. And in my mind, I came up with a range for 137 to 155. That was my range. Just tossing out a number.
Sorry, did you say 137
I said,
to 155?
I came up with 137 to 155.
Okay, thanks.
It also has to-
Matching our current superintendent
Mhm.
salary.
I will tell you what current.
I'm just tossing out.
Yeah.
Cost of living is not cheap here on housing.
Yeah, but when you say that, I also have teachers,
Mhm.
classified, non-classified, that is doing the same, has the same struggle.
It's a real challenge.
It's a real challenge. So in some ways, we want someone that wants to be here too.
And you also want to have a pool.
Yep.
An attractive pool as
Yep.
well, so.
You don't mention police
department. No, thank you.
So, okay, so that range is a lot smaller than $100,000, that's good.
Just tossing it out.
Yeah, some of the variables are, education levels and experience, of course. So as you're thinking about creating that window, you really have to think about, well, if we do get someone with 10 years of experience and a doctorate, that has a certain value to the work. And so that is part of the calculation.
Yeah, we could broaden the range a little bit on the top end to allow for that, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 135 to 165, I don't know, 140 to 160.
For the range, do you have a best practice there? Is 20, there's like, what's the,
I like to see a $20,000 range.
okay,
That way you can, if you get a brand new superintendent, it's easy to argue at the lower end of that. If you have someone that's coming in with 15 years of superintendent experience and a PhD, they will come in and negotiate towards the top end of that, and rightfully so. Then there's that flexibility. You also want to have a range that is acceptable to actually recruit
Yeah.
people to the district as well.
We want to attract.
And I get what you're saying about teachers and classified, and I absolutely agree with
Because
you.
that's something we've been working hard on.
Because it's optics, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, it's the reality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not optics to me, it's the reality. We've been working hard as a board to up our, increase our salaries. And so it's a balance, and it's a balance on the pressure of a budget as well.
The other thing too is if you're hiring from within, it's a lot easier to get a lower salary. If you're hiring someone from the administrative ranks. That's not so true when you're hiring from without, people that have been in a metropolitan area or whatever. So to your point, you gotta have someone who wants to be here as well, so.
So like 140 to 160, 20,000 range.
That's what I was thinking.
In the
140,
ballpark.
160?
In the ballpark of what we have currently, with a little bit higher, right, because Ruby was a first-time superintendent. So,
Without a PhD. I'm just working on it.
What was your-
I was thinking the same thing, 140 to 160.
140, 160?
What was previous superintendent Sheldon, what was his salary when he left the district, you remember? Roughly.
7, I think. I'd have to go back and look at that one.
I think 140 to 160, that's fine. I think that you will be low with your comparables. If you take a look. Just recruitment period.
Do you know what the ranges are for the other
So
districts?
I looked at Salida, for example, a mountain town, 1,281 students. There's district of distinction, they're at 155.
That's the current salary for the student, okay?
Yeah, I pulled all of them.
Okay.
I looked at Bennett, 1,700 students, they're at 137.
Okay.
Sharon Zanami, I have. Walsh is small, I'm just trying to Salida, Delta, Elizabeth.
Delta's kind of.
Elizabeth has 2,282 students and they're at 180.
And Delta just posted, I believe it's 185 to 200.
Manitou Springs is 1,113 students, they're at 159, 236.
so you just had 159 and it's on the spreadsheet at 177.
I just pulled off the
What's the
CD
difference
side.
there?
Unless, did they get a new superintendent recently?
I
This
didn't
came off
notice that.
CD2, I don't.
And then, the other one I looked at was Gunnison Watershed, RE1J, which I know they're posting now. So their previous, they have 2,002 students and they're at 156, 218. So that's how I came up with. I can keep going.
I know.
I
Good rationale.
To me, I think what is
was like the
also,
140 and 60 though. That's wrong. Go ahead, sorry.
that's twice Stacy.
I'm sorry.
I am also interested to know what the ranges are for the other positions. I know that they're not comparable exactly in the scope of the work, besides the district and whatnot, but that's essentially what we're competing with as well, right? Those other openings right now, like what are the salary ranges for those?
Correct. That's what we heard about. That's what we heard about board meeting, is that there are 5 other districts that are relatively similar to us for those things right now.
And what are their ranges?
I did not look at those ranges. I know where they're at.
I mean, it's here now, right? This
Yeah.
is all historical.
So Gunnison named their finalist. I know that. I know Eagle has as well, but I didn't look at what their ranges are.
Not their current posted ranges, you know.
I didn't either.
So does that range include everything?
No, that's what I'm
Because
saying.
we're looking at, mileage,
Benefits.
benefits, all the other things. So that's just the salary.
Well, how about if I do this with my colleague Dave, if he could look up, if they have a posted range in, Gunnison, Crested View? Cause I know that McPherson is doing that one right now. If you could look up, Eagle Vale. I know that one's, they just named finalists. And Dave, if you could look up, I don't know if Burlington has that posting yet?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Burlington doesn't. I know. I've been following them.
What was the other district that was open?
It's Gunnison, Eagle, Steamboat Springs,
Or look up Steve, although it's kind of,
Yeah, that's the whole problem with that. Thompson's already, good lord, why can't I think of the five? I don't know. Burlington, Eagle, Emerson, Steamboat. There's one other.
Burlington or not.
It's Burlington, Gunnison, Eagle, Steamboat. But on all the websites. I can't think of the other tripped on my head.
Let's give Dave a little bit of time.
Yeah, I'll start pulling those Gunnison, Eagle, Steamboat.
Eagle's gonna be higher than what we're gonna be.
Yeah.
It's,
It's waterfront
Yeah.
preference.
I remember Eagle was really far out there. They were,
yeah. I remember.
Well, and
I
what's
think they
interesting.
maxed out at 285.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't say Delta.
So Delta is, they just posted, 185 to 220, Dave.
I think so, yeah.
They're much bigger.
Right.
They're 4,000 kids, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're 4,000.
I'm trying to pull those now.
Okay, so if we could just pause that item.
Yep.
We do need to, have those numbers,
Yes.
today. What,
Yep.
140 to 160 is fine. But let's have him do some due diligence there and then we'll come back to that. Is that all right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, cause these towns is different.
In Colorado,
Aspen is a lot higher than we are.
Right.
And that's all gotta figure in too.
so, here's another thing that typically happens as well. This is kind of what happens with superintendents, retire or resign, and the new superintendent comes in. The superintendent that replaced me in Littleton, he's making quite a bit more than I. Yeah,
It's standard, even in
It's-
business.
it's business.
You know,
yeah.
it's,
So yeah, when you come in, your raises aren't commensurate with that next range, almost never.
Yeah.
That, the next range is almost always significantly more than what you were at your top end, so, it hurt my feelings.
Well, and you go to if you work, 5 years for this company, then the next people come in.
Yep,
They're making as much as you are 5 years later. I mean, they're making.
Yep.
You know, you just kind of go,
without the experience.
right, and what do you do? And this
Yeah,
prices go
And
up.
that's
The
why
mark-
people move around so much.
yep, the market, that's what the market does, so. Okay, Aaron, if we can go back to the working agenda while Dave is doing his due diligence. Thank you, Dave.
Yep, you bet.
And let's go ahead and call out the next agenda item and we'll come back to superintendent pay just a bit.
Is that,
Number 9.
on the posting?
Scroll up just a little bit.
Stacy's still looking at the posting.
I am still looking at the posting. Is that the last item on the posting? I'm sorry, it's wrong. Give me a second. I don't have this current. Okay, moving on to agenda item 2.9 focus groups.
Okay. So again, HYA will work closely with Aaron to set up the date or dates, and the times for these and the locations. But what I need from the board is to hear from you and to reach consensus on what focus groups do you want? Who do you want us to talk to and in what configurations? For example, if you want us to do, all the teachers, I would recommend that we have 2 different sessions. So the teachers can come at 2 different times, before school, after school, or 2 evenings, whatever. So what are the configurations that you would like to see? You guys all have, and these are just examples. If you'll scroll up just a little bit more. This is what, different districts have done. And the reason I put superintendent council in there is because I know that, that Ruby does have a group of kids that she works with.
Yes.
And that might be one group of students,
Yeah.
and then maybe a cross section of all other subgroups as well. They both will have different, context. The floor is open.
Something like teachers, do we want sessions with all teachers or do we want sessions with like teacher representatives from every building?
All teachers.
I think everyone should have an opportunity to participate if they want to.
Absolutely.
And I think included with that, that use uncertified staff.
Classified staff or hourly, yeah.
Yes, I think they need to be included with the teachers, because their voice is very important too.
Okay, how about
Bus
this?
drivers, the nutritionists, custodians.
What about 2 teacher sessions? We'll figure out what makes the most sense there, and 2 classified hourly employee sessions.
Or combine them.
Yeah, just to,
And through 2 sessions
Yeah.
and invite all of them.
Oh, that's fine too.
I
That's
guess,
good.
yeah.
we have a philosophy that we're all better together. So when you start grouping people,
Okay,
to me, that goes against our philosophy.
okay.
So I think I like the
Yes.
2
2 sessions, all staff.
yes.
And how many staff do you have?
Oh, that's,
About 270-ish.
Okay. 2 sessions.
the other group, I would say, Ruby meets with, so we're very driven by our strategic planning, right? Ruby, every other Friday, meets with a strategic leadership team. That's our principals, our assistant principals, all of her direct reports. You're in that meeting, but you're not in that meeting, right? So Ruby has 19 direct reports. I think I've looked at all this. She has 19 direct reports. That's basically her Friday group, including our instructional coaches, that drives the strategic plan and the leadership meetings.
Would they be one focus group?
They could be a focus
I
group.
think that's good.
Okay, and what does she call that?
So it's her leadership, her strategic planning leadership team, I think is
I
the,
think, or just district.
District. so it's basically,
She just called it district.
principals, assistant principals, Kim Morris, Kim Lemoran, Wendy, Nick. It'd be instructional coaches, we have 2 of them. Brian, Sunny Peach, Eric,
I know,
Adam.
names aren't helping you at all.
yeah, it's all,
Exactly.
it's her directors, her coordinators, her instructional coaches.
Okay.
They meet every other Friday, and you could jump on that.
It isn't, her instructional coaches don't actually attend that,
I would throw it in with
I
that.
agree.
but they could certainly join.
They can be
Yeah.
Part of that, yeah.
So
So it's her directors, her managers, her coordinators,
Yes.
what I need to
all
understand
her direct
is,
reports.
is everyone going to be comfortable speaking their mind in front of all the different people? For example, will classified people, hourly rate employees, will they be completely confident and comfortable speaking their mind in front of teachers? And vice versa, will teachers be confident in speaking their mind in front of classified employees? And will coaches, be confident in speaking in front of district administrators around the questions that we're going to ask? I need the opportunity for everyone to be open and honest and transparent.
And is the group too big? Like, what's the maximum poll number?
Or maybe optimal, right?
Yeah.
Not too big, not
Yeah.
too small. What is an optimal?
I can speak about it.
So if you have a total number, then you divide more sessions, because you're probably, for me, my concern is, number one, everybody needs a voice. If you start saying it's this day or that day, and in this town, your coaches are also your parents are also doing a job, and you say you have to come this day, then David may not get a voice that day, and that's a concern. Like, I'd rather have.
Okay, why don't we agree on 2 days, even though we.
You get, right, like, if they need it, I'd rather make sure that everyone has opportunity to have a voice than not have a voice, because we as a board are saying, you can only come this day.
Yeah.
And I can't control who's comfortable speaking up with who.
Okay.
That's personalities that,
And then there's a survey
Is beyond that.
opportunity, so if they're not comfortable speaking up,
Sure.
they can participate through the survey.
Absolutely.
absolutely,
And then the community, they need that opportunity as well.
opposed to.
That's very important that our community has input.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. Parents and other stakeholders should be
Yeah.
involved, yeah. So,
So that's our parents, our community partners, and our students.
then why don't we just agree that, that Aaron and I will come, we're gonna do 2 consecutive days. We'll figure out what that is. That we will do, if you think that most of the employees are gonna show up, 270, is too large for even 2 groups, if everyone decides to come out. We would almost need, four groups. I mean, really, when you start getting up above 30 people in a room,
Yeah.
people won't have their voice heard.
Right.
So I would like to keep those groups at 25 or less, if possible. But that doesn't mean everyone's gonna come out either.
What kind of participation do people have, Erin?
A lot. Yeah.
Small towns usually have more participation than our large cities, they do.
Our employees.
Yeah.
Good.
Are you guys on a 4-day week?
Mhm.
Would Fridays be bad? Because of activities and such?
It depends. I mean, that's where I go back to the.
Probably, I mean, a lot happens every day.
All the time, yeah. I was out looking at our schedule. There's always something every single night. That's what I'm saying, to do this day for certified only or this day for classified only,
That's too constricted.
it's very constrictive. You're right.
What about Friday, Saturday?
I don't know, them come to us and then to come in on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Okay.
I think,
AM, PM. 2 weekdays.
Okay.
So it's 4 sessions for staff, for all school employees.
But if.
what are you gonna do for community?
You do AM, then they're supposed to be in the classroom, how are they going to participate?
Well, you said early.
It would have to be before
Yeah.
school.
I would say maybe at least one session is early, and I agree, you're getting up early, but if you coach and you're in season, you're every day after
Every night.
school, at least you have
Or
energy.
course, or all the other things that go on.
So if you look at that, okay, so if you look at overall, like, let's step back and up a level. You can do a leadership team, which can be Friday during the day. We can take one of Ruby's Friday sessions, Friday. So that's a Friday afternoon, she meets with them every other Friday. Then on the focus groups, you not only have certified, classified, you have parents.
That's a separate group than.
That's why I'm asking, it's parents, community members and students, right? Or we call our community partners. So you gotta figure out how to do all of that.
Yeah.
And we can work out the details on that, but if I know that we need 2 consecutive days. If we know that, one of those days has to be a Friday because of her leadership team, because they're already coming together, that would be fine. Typically in a school district, we would do something before school for those early birds that want to get it done. Those aren't as well attended as those, then right after school and then an evening. Cause you have some teachers, like I gotta get my kids to sports or I gotta go do
That's it.
something, but I'll come back at 6 or 7, which is fine. So we could do,
But then are you putting parents in that one and community
Yeah.
partners?
no,
Yes.
I'm just saying we can do that. So Dave and I can both be here. And we can split up.
Okay.
So if we have 2 different locations, so, I can do staff or he can do staff and community, whatever. So we can split that up.
So you're really having everything be very separate. You're not having just like a room full of potential teachers, parents.
Not for focus groups.
You're having them be very specific.
But the board gets to decide that in the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the board gets to say,
Very
I guess I'm just concerned that if you say this is your one opportunity to share the information.
I think everyone should have at least 2, maybe 3 opportunities. I think for the community, if you have, 2 or 3 opportunities, and with 2 people working the focus groups, we can pull that off. Because we can really hit, do multiple things. And if they're in the same location, it's easy for, us to stay in a location and people come to us. If we have 2 different locations or whatever.
And then the survey will be online, right? So if you can't come to any of them,
Right.
or if you want a voice and you don't want to come to a focus
Correct.
group, regardless of where and you still want to provide input, we still have a survey.
And it's the same questions.
It's the same questions, and I think it's important to know as a board, regardless if someone is in person or it's a survey, it's equal weight of
It is.
input.
Yeah.
I think that's important
The
to,
focus groups, are much more robust and fun and people play off of each other.
right,
When
right.
I say that in a positive way, they.
Yeah, they start thinking, oh yeah, that's a great, yeah.
So you get a lot more, but the surveys, it's all equal weighted. There's, in the final report, nothing weighs more than another.
So both of you will be doing this together at different spots on, potentially visit our campus.
Yeah, we could do them, and there might be different locations.
More sense, because then that will allow for the focus groups to be smaller.
So let's say we had, we had immediately after school, there was a session both for community and for, staff. And then at 6 o'clock, we have another one, or 5 o'clock, whatever.
Can you put the students in that one immediately after school? Because if it's close to here, the students are here. Well, I'm having issues with the students saying, please don't select certain students because then we don't get a voice.
Yeah. No, it has to be
All this, yeah,
Yeah.
It's important to all the students.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah, if you guys want the students, section. So I kind of had it, where we had two groups of students, the superintendent council would be one. And then other students would be invited, for the cross section or all subgroups. And that could be selected by the principal, or it could just be, have an open, forum for kids. Either way, it's fine.
Is the superintendent council group too small? Like, should we do superintendent's council, student council, and?
You're gonna run into the same problem. There's small groups and if they're in activity, it's the same problem we have that they have to get up and leave a school board meeting because they have the next thing to go to.
Everybody's-
So I would probably not do that. I would, and again, hearing this, voice of all students.
Yes,
That puts the certain kids' voice,
above others.
yes, and I don't like that. So to me, it's, and
Just.
we have a small number of students to begin with at the high school.
Yeah.
So
Do you want us to do two student groups, just in general, two student groups?
Yes, and who wants to participate can participate.
that's it. That's what I really care about. Who wants to participate and participate. Again, I'm more concerned about them having a voice. And then I'm concerned too, if we start saying, well, now it's only this group and that group and they can't go to that, but they can go to this. Sorry, you can't do
Yeah.
that. That's why I'd like a
Yeah.
broader group
So,
and not so isolated.
yeah,
So people can, like offer them and then people can come to what works.
okay.
And then everyone gets a voice. I'm just,
Do you want a Saturday? Like, it's easy for me to have a 10 o'clock in the morning Saturday thing if someone can just.
Maybe for community or,
I don't.
or catch all?
Yeah.
Let me do that. Like,
Yeah.
this is the final one. Anyone else is welcome to come, whoever
Okay.
you are.
Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday be, if you can't.
Yeah, I mean, Dave can't be there on a Saturday, but I can.
And we could do that Zoom,
Absolutely. Well, we could do.
or if you're gonna be here,
I'll be here. I prefer to do it in person.
because I hear what you're saying, if we could do like a Thursday, Friday, if you combine it with her meeting and then a Saturday.
So. I've been taking notes. I think what I'm hearing then, is that 2 days in a row, directly after school would be a teacher and a student session, separate but at the same time. And then later would be a community and parent type meeting. Meaning, like trying to stagger the times, right?
Mhm.
Admin was during the school day. Teachers and students right after school.
What are you gonna do with the classified? I'm hearing certified, but I'm not hearing classified at all.
Well, that's teacher staff, that's.
Okay,
Yeah.
you said teachers.
I know,
Sorry, I wrote teacher class.
employee.
I'm sorry.
The entire staff.
When you say teachers, I think certified.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm a phone, staff.
Okay, staff then.
Staff.
Okay, so like a staff,
So what you were saying, with two
Oh, I like
people
it.
in 2 rooms, but can be at the same time, you have
staff is
staff
two.
coming in directly after school. You also have students available right after school.
That's it, there you go.
And then later after that, get a dinner break or whatever, then you have your community parents a little later in the evening after things are calmed down after sports.
Yeah, so,
for 2 days.
Do you want the community parent together or do you prefer them separate, Brad?
I feel like they're the same thing.
I feel like we all wear all the
Yes,
accessories.
that's what.
I can go to every single one of them practically.
Exactly.
yeah, so typically parents and community members are in the same group.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure.
So here's. I hear,
So wait a minute, a leadership. Okay, keep going.
okay, so I hear, a Thursday and a Friday. Dave and I will both be here doing, focus groups all day. And then I'll do a catch-all one on a Saturday morning, maybe mid-morning or something like that. I heard, that we want 2 student groups or just one on a Thursday, not on a Friday afternoon. Yeah. So a student group, and then 2 or 3, staff, morning, right after school and then evening, and community, maybe early morning for community parents or not? No, so, but 2 sessions for parents and community as well.
In the evening.
In the
on Thursday,
evenings.
Friday.
Would anyone come on Friday night? That's the problem with Fridays, is that,
Mm-hmm.
So then who would come Saturday morning?
I I've done Saturday mornings, we have a pretty good group because people come out with their coffee and it's a good group and it's hard to say.
So that's why I'm saying, like, when you start dividing, it,
I think these are
Eliminates
pretty
in person.
good general groups though, right? Like the teacher or staff are going to have different concerns than community,
right,
you know?
Okay, are there any other does this capture everyone you need, or is there another group that has to be a subgroup? Or are we okay with kind of staff, kids, administration, parents, community?
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right. So let Dave and I work with Aaron to figure out exactly what that looks like, and we'll get the schedule to you for
Okay.
final approval before we start allocating rooms and spaces and all of that. How's that sound?
Yeah,
Dave, did you hear all that?
Yep. I figured you'd brief me later. I'm still scrolling for salary windows, and I posted those into your notes section. And then I just dug up Rangeley's, and they're also 125 to 155. So,
Okay.
yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm still actually coaching kids on Saturdays. So,
Okay.
yeah,
I got nothing to do on Saturday. It's all good.
And something else that I know that has worked with parents too is scheduling an hour meeting an hour before the game starts can work too. Right?
So depending on the.
So like,
Oh, that's a good
the hour
idea.
before the high school volleyball game.
Oh,
Is
Kids are
parent
coming
meeting,
anyway.
because the kids and the parents are gonna be there anyways, they just come a little early and.
sure.
and you can open that to, yeah. That's a great idea.
yeah, that is a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
So I think we have our marching orders in our groups,
Just before activity.
and we'll come up with a schedule and I'll run that by you, Casey. Where did you put your notes at, Dave?
I put it in the notes section,
I didn't know we had a notes
chat
section.
section rather, chat. But I can,
Oh,
Do you wanna just,
in this?
you see it?
So-
Well,
Oh,
Go
maybe
to-
not while I'm sharing.
Can you just share the ranges that you found so far?
Like
Sure.
that.
yeah, So- Gunnison is 155 to 185.
Hold on just a second,
Wait a
Dave.
second.
Hold on.
Yeah, do we need to change agenda items, Stacy?
Going back to salary.
Yeah, so we're gonna diverse back to 2.8, superintendent job posting and salary range.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, share what you found.
So Gunnison is posting a window of 155 to 185. Eagles window is 225 to 265. Steamboat is 140 to 165. Delta is 185 to 220. And then
Who's that?
Rangeley is 125 to 155. They're like 400 kids.
Can you, say the names of the last two districts again, please?
Yes, Delta was 185 to 220,000.
Okay,
Rangeley was 125 to 155,000.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Dave, just as a side note, are you surprised about that Steamboat, posting? I am.
Okay, what was Steamboat again?
140 to
It's- it is.
165.
140 to 165 for Steamboat.
Okay,
I just did my work.
okay.
I did my work.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by the Steamboat window.
Your problems.
So going back to the conversation, we left it off at 140 to 160. Does that feel good to everybody, given what you just heard?
Well, let me go back to. Let me go see if I can find Steamboat real quick.
So first note is that their ranges are more than 20,000 across the board. So they're more like 25, 30,
Yep.
35.
Yeah,
And we can go more too.
140, 155.
Yeah, that would be.
you could go more, but you don't have to offer it unless you get a unicorn, where you're like, wow, look at these credentials. This is amazing. Didn't think this would happen. We can push it up.
How many how many students does Steamboat have? I think
I think they're around 2,000. But that was a fast read of the job posting.
Yeah, thank you for doing that and pulling those numbers. it does just provide a little bit of perspective.
Because they're high cost of living.
Dave, do they provide housing?
I don't know whether Steamboat does. I know Eagle didn't provide housing to their current superintendent because he came from within. But the superintendent prior, there was a housing clause in their contract. So I know that the Roaring Fork School District has recently added superintendent housing just because it's extremely hard to get into the Roaring Fork Valley. And Garfield 2 and Garfield 16 do not provide housing, though their prices are starting to go up as well. So increasingly, you're seeing a housing allowance, or a housing loan. There's a number of creative ways for housing, but that's subject to the additional negotiations that you could enter.
The Steamboat has 2,572 students.
Oh, I got 2,458. Well,
We're close.
somebody needs to update CD's website.
Oh,
It is a little spread.
Oh, you can widen your spread too if you wanted to, to
well, I
match.
don't think we don't wanna set false expectations. We
That's
need to
right.
be realistic.
Yeah.
On both sides of the farm,
And there's community optics.
and what it's gonna cost us and also what is realistic.
And beyond the salary range, once again, the extra stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the benefit package.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good point, because you're not gonna get that solid number.
Right.
You're definitely gonna be paying, insurance at minimum. Cell phone,
Minimum.
transportation.
Yeah.
Do we wanna reach consensus on the 140-160, or do we have something on the table that you wanna discuss? Silence denotes agreement.
I think a 135 to 165 gives the board the most amount of flexibility.
I
And
want
it sets a nice solid foundation and it gives you some wiggle room should you, like I said, find that unicorn. But again, that's what the board is most comfortable with. And you know your community really well.
You guys were,
I don't think we need to lower the bottom,
okay,
like, meaning,
no, I
when
don't.
we go down there,
Right.
a candidate we're not very happy with, like. So, I think the bottom is fine, one for the top number that we need to
Yeah,
set expectations. Now, like, 140 to 170 puts our current superintendent in the middle of that range. Or would we go as high as 170? That's our question.
why would I go as high as 170 when I got a school district that has higher cost of living in a mountain community, has more than double our student count, and they're only at
Let's do it
165?
Okay.
That doesn't even seem logical to me.
Fair.
So then 140 to 165?
I do 160 personally, but
I think I like 165.
perfect.
Okay, how about you two? Yeah, 165, I feel like an auctioneer.
So we're gonna offer the same amount of Steamboat and they're having double the kids?
And that's.
That's exactly what you're doing.
I go back to the benefits piece, that's more money.
But all of them have.
Yeah, they all have benefit
I mean,
packages.
it's. Yeah,
Well, then double the kids at Steamboat. You know, I think 140 to 160.
Okay,
Don't stick with me with that.
140, 160, okay, we have consensus, 140 to 160? All right, good work, Gordon. Good work. 140 to 160, we'll get that, on there.
Got a thumbs up.
All right, thank you, Dave.
Happy to help.
Let us go
Is there
back,
anything else on that?
just what you guys are gonna send me, to make some, additions to the posting.
job description.
Okay.
You were gonna send me like 5 or 6 things?
Yeah, there's nothing else on that
Nope.
document?
Nope.
That's what I'm asking.
Do we talk about benefits and stuff later?
That's, yeah, that's completely up to the board, yeah,
Okay.
for negotiations, yeah.
Okay, so it's not a now
No.
discussion, it's a.
No. I mean, it's assumed that there's a benefit package.
Okay, got
And that will be for later conversation between you and.
Well, up front, just so everyone knows, like transparency, our current superintendent gets the same benefit package as our administrators.
That's common in many districts, and then in some districts, they have different packages, but that's up to the board.
Yeah, that's what we do now. That's been kind of the tradition of the city. I guess this is my third or fourth search in this district, and that's commonly what they do.
All right, let's go back to the working agenda.
Oh, I know, I didn't.
We're done with 9. Let's see. Oh, we need to talk about online survey.
So we finished up the 2.8 superintendent job posting,
Yeah,
finished up 2.9 focus groups.
yeah, but included in that is the survey. We just need to handle that one real quickly.
Yeah, so we're going back to 2.9 focus groups.
Okay, so, we talked about the focus groups and we'll work all the details out on that. And then, we would like to get the survey out as soon as possible. You guys saw a draft of that. That's kind of our standard survey. We're happy to add a question or two. But the longer it gets, the fewer people respond. The questions that you saw in the survey are exactly what we ask, in the focus groups. So, is there anything else you'd like to add to the survey?
Are the survey questions all optional, meaning we can get a response where they fill out one and they leave the rest blank? Or do they have to fill out every question?
I can't remember how it's set. I know what you're talking about. I don't know. What would you like?
I think we want.
Nothing required.
Right, nothing required.
We will accept partial responses.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So,
question about, how do you, or is there a way to make sure that it is truly our community and it's not people from outside of our community responding?
it's impossible.
Yeah, but I mean,
And it's impossible really, if people want to go from the library to the school, to their home, to their office with different IP addresses and all that. And so you have to kind of manage the data when it comes in to say, look, we have someone who's really, really angry about everything here, and that's over here on this side. And then you have this person over here, like, we do everything so perfectly here, we can never improve. The truth is in the
in the
middle.
middle.
And that's, when we write that report, we don't really pay a ton of attention to those outliers.
Okay,
What we pay attention to is everything in that center section where people really want to provide constructive feedback to the district and to the
Right.
board, to the new superintendent. But also, we want to hear those positive glows on the district as well. So there's really no way to stop that.
okay.
And if someone wants to go to that effort, okay, you know,
The multiple
yeah,
surveys
so
given. Is that potentially, can that happen?
do what?
If one person decides I'm gonna do 3 or 4 surveys, does that happen?
I'll tell you.
Stack the cards.
But see, there's no benefit to it. It doesn't help do anything, because at the end of the day, the board gets to decide on the end. So we had one time where a group of teachers decided, someone wrote a beautiful, eloquent, really negative piece. And then they sent it to all of their teacher friends, and then all of those teachers submitted the exact same verbiage.
It happens, yeah.
Well, it's just invalid. It's like, that's
Hard
invalid.
to control.
You know, yes, one person had those thoughts and feelings, absolutely, those matter. But not when you have 25 people who wrote the exact same thing. That's pretty easy to determine from the survey.
Okay.
And as those results come in, Stacy, will, keep us, informed as to, look, someone's trying to game the system. I've only seen it happen one time. And it was obvious. It was so obvious. Okay. You know. Any additions, or we're good to go?
When the survey comes out.
We can probably get it out this week. And so who does it go to? Everyone and anyone. We want, it on your website. If you guys do email blast to parents, your principal school newsletters, if they would, if you have a district newsletter. However you typically communicate out to the community. If that includes the newspaper, if they would publish, you know, a QR code with a link to the survey, that would be great.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to Aaron about like, what are all the different ways that you communicate? if you have, if all of your high school kids have district emails, it's a great way to blast the district, high school kids. Now, we will get some things back,
That's fine.
but, and there'll be some funny ones, but, you know, whatever ways that we can blast it out. And then also it'll be housed on your district website. It can be on the word page, it can be on the search page, all of that, so.
So they can do it, they can get it, right?
Yep, they can do it immediately, yeah, wide open, yeah. Okay, all right,
Everyone can participate through the survey.
absolutely.
That is so important that for people to understand.
How many people live in Estes Park?
Well, we have
Well,
Essex,
there's
I mean, that's my
there are the
point.
suburbs.
Glen Haven, Pinewood, Storm Mountain, like we have so.
Everyone can participate,
Yeah.
so if someone says, well, none of the focus groups work, they can call us. They can call me and I'll take notes. They can send us an email, so there are other ways, if you choose not to do the survey because you don't trust the survey, or if you don't wanna come out to a focus group, we will take the data however you wanna get it to us.
And that information will be published
Uh-huh,
to
yeah,
the public.
well, it's comes in the form of the final report, yeah, all of it comes back to the community.
Public information.
That's important. Great.
Okay. Enough on the survey then. Just to confirm the subgroups, we typically do high school students, staff, which is certified staff, teachers and admin. We do support staff as a subgroup. We do parents and guardians of schools attending the school and then community members. Those are the groups that are delineated, and that we can disaggregate the data so that you know who's saying what within the community. Is that okay?
So that will just be in the report, it will not, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
that's in the report, but everything's, I mean, no one is identified, it's just identified by group.
perfect, thank you.
Okay,
The difference between 2 and 3 for us, meaning certified staff in 2 versus support staff.
so some districts call it licensed staff, those are teachers, or certified staff, those are teachers, or sometimes there's speech language pathologists, psychologists, and things that are licensed, but they're not certified teachers. They're all lumped into number 2. That they hold a state license through the Colorado Department of Education. That's number 2. Number 3 is all classified employees, bus drivers, nutrition services, all of those folks.
Got it.
Paraprofessionals,
Oh, there's no.
so.
No, I'm asking, though.
Say that again, Aaron?
Is there a reason to keep those two separate?
I think they provide different perspectives on how they're feeling about things. And they have a different lens. And even though we were
But
putting,
certainly sometimes you get crosswalks, right? Like a certified staff might turn up in the support staff because it worked better for his or her schedule. And it's not the end of the world. We're just trying to make it comfortable, right? And it helps with the grouping. As you're analyzing the data, it helps knowing what the voices are, where they're coming from.
So we're having those meetings together, right? So
Yeah.
will you be able to separate out the data?
we don't separate the data out from the focus groups.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
at the focus group level, we'll say, here's what the classified certified staff said. Here's what the high school students said. Here's what the parent community group said.
Okay,
Here's what the admin group said. So we won't delineate those out. We can't do that unless we have a different focus group,
perfect.
which
Okay,
is fine.
yeah,
It doesn't matter.
But you're saying these
These are-
these 5 categories are the online survey
Yep.
categories.
got it.
Okay. We're ready to move on.
Agenda item 210, number of slated candidates.
Okay, so we talked about slated candidates, and that is after we've done all the vetting, we've done some background checking, we've checked their social media, we're trying to do what we can do from a background check perspective. And we will bring to you our top 6 candidates. However, if you're looking at the candidates and you want to know why didn't you pick number 7 or 8, and why aren't they slated? We have that conversation with you in executive session. We talk about why we slated the 6 candidates. Who are they, their background, and why they were slated, and maybe 2 or 3 others weren't slated. And we have that conversation. The board always has the discretion to tell us, nope, we want that person within the slate, and we're gonna move them forward. That's always within your discretion. I'll give you an example of that. Internal candidates sometimes. If there are internal candidates, we recommend they're treated like any other candidate. They go through the process, they're vetted by us. They get part of the conversation when we're in the slate conversation. But we've had board members who said, that's an internal candidate, we're moving them forward. Okay, that's fine, even though HYA may say, we don't think they're as highly qualified as X, Y, and Z over here. The board holds the cards and the ultimate decision making over who is called the slate. The slate's typically 6, and that's the group of semifinalists, if you will, that we call in and do, they can be here in person or we do Zooms, so.
Earlier you had mentioned kind of like a first category, very highly qualified, second category, kind of qualified, third category, not qualified. Are we going to see that during the process? Or do we see, I know that we have the portal, but I'm saying your guys' thinking and sorting, and do we see any of that in the background, or no, it's just, here's our top 6 for
Can
consideration?
you pull up the board portal again? I think you do.
Okay.
Go to select. One, two, and 3 candidates right there. Okay.
So this is where we can view some of the background work that you're doing.
Yep.
Okay.
See that? Yep. And we're happy to talk to you about any candidates if you see them come through and as well. Okay, let's go back to the agenda. Any other questions on slate?
I like 6.
What's that?
I like the
Yeah,
6.
6, and it doesn't mean you can't have 7, or it doesn't mean you can't have 5. It doesn't mean you can't have 4, it's just, and 6 is a good number, so we'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
If there's not 6 slated candidates, because there's not qualified, we'll tell you that. Okay, we already talked, oh, sorry, moving on.
That's right. Agenda item 211, internal candidates.
Yeah. I mentioned this a little bit, we recommend, but it's the board's prerogative, everyone gets treated the same as you move through the process. If we get to the end of the process and, the board is adamant about bringing an internal candidate into the finalists, you can do that too, but just know that we tend to treat them like all candidates, they're just another applicant, which is good. Any questions on those? Okay, candidate expenses.
Agenda item 212, candidate expense.
Sorry.
Keep rolling. You're doing great.
Well, I'm not gonna beat the 40 minutes. Candidate expenses, so the board gets to decide, how they're going to reimburse the candidates for travel. It is very, very rare for a board to say, we're not reimbursing our finalists to come visit us in, Estes Park for 2 days. That has never happened since I've done a search. I have had boards that have said, we will pay for the slate all to come. I don't think that that's necessary, that's expensive, particularly if you have out-of-state candidates. Typically what happens, the average, is the board pays for expenses of the 3 finalists. They do not pay for any of the expenses related to the slate. But we also offer for the slate a Zoom interview if you choose not to come here. But if you do choose to come here, it's on your own dime. That's up to the board's discussion.
And knowing that if we're not paid for the slate to come here, we have less, we can't hold it against them.
Exactly.
No,
So,
yeah, I think that sounds fair.
Mhm.
and then what about on the candidates we pay for? What about spouses? Or like a.
Good question.
Or is it just the candidate?
Good
Like,
question, because if you're hiring a superintendent, they typically will have a family, spouse or whatever. That also would be up for discussion as well. We've had districts that have paid for the spouse to come out, and all expenses, or just the candidate and their expenses, or we won't pay for the spouse's flight, but once you're here, lodging and meals will cover that. So again, the board's discretion about what you want to do with the spouse. Most likely, the finalists, if they have a spouse and they're from out of state, they're bringing their spouse because they're looking for, what they're finding out about the community. Any thoughts?
I mean, the hotel isn't more, the car rental isn't more, the meal is not that expensive, it's the flight,
The flight.
the expensive part for a second person. Or 6 instead of 3.
And you could exclude flights or you could include them, and that's really what comes down to the big expense.
You can do a rental car too.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be the same whether it's one person.
No, I know, I'm just saying, no one has said rental car.
No, right,
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying,
I
if
didn't
you tell them
hear
the
you.
rental car, you're not doubling up on. it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would be open to paying for everything, but
Like,
For the spouse.
for their plus one.
So there's the 3 candidates,
For the finalists only.
final,
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
final 3.
Because we do want them to feel welcome and we want them to, you know, really take a good look at the community and know what it's about, right?
yeah.
It's
'cause it's
important.
awesome.
That's the problem.
I said, okay, starting at the very beginning, I would not pay for anything for the slate,
Agreed.
Okay,
because that's a slate of 6, so,
that's common.
yeah.
Yep.
So we can agree on that.
Do we agree on the finalists themselves, flight, rental car, if they're coming from out of state, lodging and food?
Yes.
Is food per diem or what, how is that typically
Typically,
done?
submit receipts.
It's
No
receipts,
alcohol.
okay.
It's typically the way we handle it. But if they're in the district and we're doing, let's say we're doing focus groups, sometimes the districts will say, we're providing lunch for the candidate, or the candidates in this room. We can talk more about that later.
I don't know, I have a preference.
Do you think we should pay for the flight too? Or not?
Not the spouse, no.
Do you think we should pay it for?
The finalists to come here?
No.
Oh.
I hope so.
Yes, you say yes, that yes.
Do you think we should pay for a plus one's meals and?
That doesn't bug me at all.
How about +1 flight?
That bugs me.
Okay. Is that what I hear from everyone kind of? You okay with that? Want to bring a +1, do they paying for their own flight? It's fine. Don't feel guilty
But we
about it.
will pay for them once they're here, meaning we will
Yes.
pay for their meals, so when they're here, yes, we're paying dinner for 2, not dinner for 1.
Right. Yeah, I don't care about it.
Everyone paid for the spouse's flight.
I would not pay for the spouse's one.
To me, I would, because they're part of it, they're part of the, they're part of the decision. The wife's important,
Good argument.
Or the husband.
yeah, or the husband, yeah, I think it's very, well, I think it's important, because the wife's part of the, or the husband's part of
The
the,
spouse.
the spouse is part of it, and they got to like it too, so I think we should pay for it.
What's normally done?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're talking about here, domestic flight for an extra person, 3 extra people.
300.
300.
We're talking.
No, it's $600.
I don't know where
Yeah.
you're talking red eye, aren't you?
You're talking about $1,000 for 3.
For 3.
But that's if all 3 flew in.
And that's,
They might
yeah,
not,
they might not have spouses.
they might, well, they might not want to come too, so.
That's correct.
I think you give them an option, the one to come.
Brad, has your company ever paid for your spouse?
Not to fly anywhere.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't, we don't.
Okay,
You did, right, or a job interview, no.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
We don't either.
Okay. all right. So +1, everything but flight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is everyone okay with that? I mean,
Yes.
we reach consensus at least? Okay, all right, great. Let's move on to advertising.
And no alcohol still, right?
No, never.
That's right.
No. I think we're ready for the next item.
All right, moving on to 213, advertising options.
Yeah, so, HYA has a huge market position in this field. And the number of hits they get on their website, their newsletter, with, all the associates that are out doing searches is absolutely incredible. However, I will offer you up what those national packages are. I will tell you personally, I wouldn't recommend them, but I have to because that's what HYA has available. I don't think they're worth the bang for the buck for smaller school districts. For Milwaukee, for Chicago, for New York, okay. But the packages are this. The first one is called the AASA, which is American Association of School Administrators, $3,050 for a hosting unit. And these are just pass-through costs. And then Ed Week is $3,050 if that's a different package, but it includes Ed Week and not AASA. For the comprehensive package, it's $4,400. I will put those out there. If you guys want us to pursue those, we absolutely will. I would pay for a bus flight before I would pay for those, but to put it in context, so. I'll let you guys, if you wanna pursue that, there's two other things that you might wanna think about. Chalkbeat is very popular in Colorado amongst educators, board members. You probably all get Chalkbeat. For $199, you can get a 30-day posting there. Case, and do you guys have an HR person or is that the superintendent?
Or the HR person.
So, Case, you guys may have a membership to post there, I don't know. If you do have a membership in Case to post, you've already paid your $265 a year. Otherwise, it's a $50 per posting. So districts do it differently. Those might be a better bang for your buck at $50 and $199 than the $3,000 of AASA or EDWI. And that is my advertising pitch. The breadth that you'll get just out of the HYA is significant. It is a national post. And I think I had some stats.
I couldn't find what you were.
Right there, we had 25,000 page views on active search per month. Our social media pages, it's included, so that's everything social media related to HYA. We have 30,000 newsletter subscribers and 46,000 website users. So pretty big reach just by being on HYA.
And every search in Colorado, whether we have it or not, goes through winds up on the HYA website. So anyone looking in Colorado is on the HYA website.
And obviously you're members of CASB, and actually we're an affiliate of CASB as well, so it's a free posting on CASB.
Is that national?
What's
Those
that?
numbers.
Yes, those are national, yes.
CASB posting is done by you or done by us?
We do all the HYA posting stuff, so. And then I can help Aaron, figure out how we post on Case and Chalkbeat if that's what you choose to do or not, either way. In Case, Dave will handle getting it posted on Case.
Absolutely.
Is it Kim did a person?
If we have Case, then she would.
Yeah, Kim Morris, our HR would do that.
Okay, all right, but just get directed to the right people.
Yeah.
Is there like an expected number of applicants that you typically see within the first, 2 weeks or something, and then we could, if we aren't seeing that, we could.
No, it's a good question. No, I don't think there's a typical number, but, if you wanted to go ahead and get things posted through HYA, the problem is, many people wait till the last week.
Yeah.
They're fearful that somehow their name's gonna leak out. It won't, but, so they don't apply for that last week.
Right.
I mean, I think HYA,
It's very typical for them not to, apply until the last few days of a closing.
I mean, they may be working on their application, but when they actually hit the submit
Right.
button, and we can actually see people that are working on their application that haven't submitted, through our portal through HYA. I mean, for $50, Case might be, a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie's free.
Mm-hmm.
CASB's definitely supported.
What do you think, Brad?
I mean, these basic ones, I think it's fine.
I think it's good to do a little bit of outreach, just. So, one.
I will tell
Yeah, I
you,
mean, I think the question should go to him also, like. hey,
That's what I-
we members said, what can we do here? Included in what we already paid for our memberships.
You know, so, I mean, I've been through a number of searches in just this, district alone. So I would like the opportunity to talk to Kim
Sure.
and see what her suggestion is, because she would have all that history of information on what she knows.
yeah, and if you guys have a district LinkedIn or district social media, district Facebook, all that district stuff, it absolutely should go on all of that, the website. But she may also, you guys may have a relationship with, other organizations.
Right.
You know, that she already posts with or has memberships to, great, all of those count. So we don't have to zero in on that because
Okay.
that's not gonna stop us from posting it on HYA. But if she wants to do, you know, case, and if she wants to do, chalk beat, or if she has others, that's fine too.
Okay,
I will tell you what I also do, and this is just what I do, HYA does not do this. I reach out to all of the surrounding states, to the local or the school board associations. Some of them allow us to post, some of them don't, some of them cost, and if they cost, I say no. But then what I do is I go to their, Department of Ed, and I pull down all the email addresses of their state superintendents, if they have them. Now, they don't all have them, but like Colorado does. And, in batches of 25, I send the postings specifically to all superintendents in our surrounding states, just for fun. I get lots of emails back like, hey, this is really cool, thanks, Brian. Maybe not apply, but
Yeah.
it does get the word out there, because they may have an assistant super
Right, they may
or
know
a
somebody.
director.
it may, yeah, exactly.
Who's looking for Colorado, who's looking for a superintendency, so, in an odd sort of way, it's a different marketing technique that I use. It's not what HYA does, it's just what I do, so.
Yeah, you were
nothing
talking
better-
about that word of mouth and presentation.
I have
That's
nothing
how,
better to
that's how
do,
this town runs.
but if I did, the first time I ever did it in batches of like 200, they all kick back, because they block them, so
Yeah.
I figured it out. Okay,
So I can talk to Kim and get back with you
okay,
then.
sure, yep. Start with, HYA stuff and get it going. Okay, let's
Move on to agenda item 214, background checks.
scroll down.
Folks, I'm gonna have to drop off. I have to get across town to another school board meeting. I want to thank you for a good conversation and, you know, some good insights coming forward.
Thanks,
So,
Dave.
and I'll leave you in Brian's very capable hands. So,
And Dave, I will join you, as soon as I can.
okay, no problem. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Okay, so background checks, if you follow the news, these are becoming more and more important, for school district and boards of education. What's happened in Des Moines, where we find out that, well, two things, maybe someone doesn't have the credentials they say they did, or, maybe they're not even a citizen. I mean, all kinds of weird things have popped up, now. And so we're being very, very careful in making sure that we offer the boards the opportunity to do, what we call a deep background check. And this is everything. If you would click on, the due diligence services here. And the pricing here is based on, let's see, scroll up.
Yeah.
So the pricing, there it is, right here. And I would recommend, I recommend doing this on your sole finalist when you get to that
That's
point.
right.
Okay.
Because you have a waiting period before you can actually sign the
Yeah.
contract and all of that. But this has become so important, and these companies, they go deep. They go social media, they go financials, they go criminal, misdemeanor, and felony, crimes against children. They go to the universities and they get transcripts and credentials. And even in Colorado here, we've had candidates and applicants that have lied about master's degrees and doctorates. And
It takes gumption.
associates didn't check. And the board chose not to do a deep dive. So, this is really important thing for you to have a conversation about. I'm not so sure that the comprehensive, because we're out there doing the social media review to the best of our ability. The news media one is really valuable. we do some minimal stuff to see if there's anything glaring out there, like why were you fired? Or something like that. But this goes deep, so, you guys can think about that, and have a conversation about, it's expensive, I get it. But it's worth it to protect the board and the district.
The district. Yeah. I'm in favor of this.
Do we have anything we've done before as a district or outside of this option?
I don't know, I'd have to ask Kim that, because I wasn't involved in that side of it.
If you wanna ask her if she has some, other firm that you prefer to use, that's fine too, you just do that.
Because I know she does with one, but it's not as
Yeah.
detailed, yeah.
I think it does
Right.
depend on the final candidate too, you know what I mean?
Right.
If somebody's coming from out of state, yes,
I saw the one that Littleton Public Schools did on me, it's scary.
Wow.
I mean, it's what they find, I mean, it's like, oh, I forgot that I live there. You know, I mean, they have every address and,
I can talk with Kim and get her opinion on this.
I think so.
yeah, you don't have to make a decision tonight on this.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Wait.
can this decision wait until, like, there's no, we need to let them know ahead of time that they'll be, okay.
Nope.
Well, we can bring it up in another work session.
Matter of fact, at the end of the day, if you decided to hire someone internally, and said, well, we already know this person, they've been here for 15 years, we wouldn't do
We don't
that.
do that, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and I think that's,
Agreed.
we'll call it the fourth option, which is nothing standard, comprehensive, or whatever Kim
Wait.
knows or has done in the past.
Mhm.
So that is the variable.
Just know that that's available, and we'll talk about it later in the essence.
Yeah, we can bring that up and, like, we can get information and bring it back to the board, obviously.
And we can wait clear to finalists.
Yeah, exactly.
All HYA needs is the go-ahead to do it,
Okay,
or not.
thank you.
So we can do both of that. Well, we'll need to do advertising a little bit quicker.
Mhm.
And then deep background check, we can talk with Kim and bring all that back to the board.
Sure.
And the extent of what Kim's, background check looks like.
Yeah.
Those details.
Okay.
All right, Aaron, next, transition services, I won't spend a lot of time on this.
Okay, so 215, transition services.
Oh, sorry.
introduction. Thank
You know, I get so used to,
Great.
as a former superintendent, I get so used to driving an agenda. And I forget this isn't my meeting, it's your meeting, so I apologize.
It's all good. I don't need to apologize.
Drive.
Keep
Okay,
moving.
just so you know, that when you chose Hazard Getting the Tia, we're gonna stand by you all the way through the first year. With a superintendent evaluation, should you choose to use that option. It's relatively new to Colorado. I think that the option is a good one. Just know that it's available. We can talk about that much later, but it's there. There's also the Transition Academy is available. Typically, one board member and the superintendent go through, there's some deliverables for the entire board. It's a powerful tool as well. I don't teach that, or I don't facilitate that. It's a couple of other superintendents in the nation that do it, so. But I think it's a good choice, but we'll get to that way down the road. Let's scroll up to the.
Do you have a question,
I
Brenda?
do, so first year superintendent evaluation, I'm just thinking of the timing, we've been doing superintendent evaluation around the first of the year,
Mhm.
which is the middle of the school year. How are we gonna work with the new superintendent, are we gonna do that 6 months in? Or are we gonna wait till the end of the first school year?
Well, and then you gotta figure out too, are you gonna do a mid-year? Because we do not do mid-years. We just do.
Yeah.
And it aligns with contract agreement and renewals. Then
So
I, yeah.
That's the
got it.
thing, it's gotta align with whatever you guys have in the contract.
Yeah,
There
that's-
are a few superintendents in the state that said a January, February timeline for an evaluation doesn't make sense, and they've gotten their boards to opt into something different.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I do think that, it's absolutely critical that the board evaluates their superintendent. It is unfair to the community, and it's unfair to the superintendent for the board just to blow it off. I just say that, and that's happened to me before. And I just don't think it's right. I think that, we all deserve both positive and constructive criticism when warranted. The evaluation process that we'll bring forward is not one about we're gonna get him or get her. It's one about continuous improvement. It's one about, here's where we are, here's what we've done, here's what we need to happen next, tied to the strategic plan. And what does it look like? What are the artifacts? What is the evidence? So, and there's also a 360 component involved. And the board and the superintendent get to agree on what does that 360 look like and who gets to, have access to it? Could you go as deep in the community? Sure, you could. Does the community in general know what a superintendent does on a day-to-day basis? Probably not. But that's a conversation that we'll have, when you guys decide to, engage with the superintendent around evaluation. But just know there's something there.
Perfect, and I appreciate that. I think it's just the timing with the
Yeah.
changeover and does doing this 6 months-ish into the job, is that the right timeline?
It's a conversation.
Legally, you have to do one evaluation per year.
Okay.
That's CRS revised statutes, right? Have to do one a year. It does not specify what time of year. So we can,
We can push it back.
we can change that,
Yeah.
right?
And I,
And you can do
I'm
it
not even-
mid-year,
right, and
like,
I'm not even recommending that we change, I'm just saying, I'm just kind of questioning
Yeah.
to myself of, does it make sense? 6 months in, they're just getting their feet under them. Is
Just
that
make sure
good time to adjust, or is that not, hey, we should wait and we should do it later, kind of?
make sure that you, whatever you decide to do, is that it's aligned with the contract and state statute and your policy.
Yeah.
Just with all aligned.
Okay.
And because the board, you have purview over making sure that you do what you want to do, but it has to be aligned.
Okay.
Okay, moving on for one more overview.
oh, that'd be good. 216,
Sorry.
calendar time, no,
Oh, got one more question. The 6 month transition academy,
Uh-huh.
what is that? Is that you're coming to our work sessions? We're
No.
talking, what is?
It is a transition academy that usually the one board member and the superintendent go through, and they really come up with that 100-day plan about the work that's going to go on with, if you will, almost goals for the first year.
Got it.
And you're building those through this transition academy, and you work through modules and I think it's all online. None of it's in person. I like it because it keeps the superintendent and the board focused on what are those key deliverables during that first year, which goes right into the evaluation.
Okay, so the superintendent and a board member are doing that early in the tenure
Yes.
of the superintendent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would recommend, as early as August, get signed. I mean, and I think they have the transition academies throughout, but signed up earlier in the fall than later, just to get going. All right, we've already talked about the calendar for search when we went through the process. Is there any other questions?
I have a Goldilocks question.
Yeah.
Is this scheduled too early or too late or just right?
It's just right, of course, Brad.
I think it's just right for where you are. I mean, if you think about it, there's some districts ahead of you, yes. Are there,
Sorry, look at those districts.
Yeah.
They announced in the fall.
right, so they knew that those folks were resigning or retiring or whatever. No, and I think you're gonna see more superintendents resign or retire or be asked to leave
That's right.
within the next, few months too, so.
Okay.
So you're kind of right in the middle of the pack, I would say.
There was something we were gonna talk about.
We got salaries.
No, on the dates.
Oh, so we're on 216 calendar
Oh,
time for
sorry.
search?
Yeah, it's not,
Okay,
What was it?
I don't remember,
What?
but I remember I asked.
I mean, I'm just looking at the yellows. We know our plan. We don't know exact dates for those stakeholder meetings. We're
Oh,
thinking.
that's right.
And here's why, is that, if you would give us the latitude to work that out, because it really, it doesn't impact you at all. What it does is impact school activities and all of that, and that's why I need to work with.
It
staff.
wasn't this, it was the slate of 6 interviews that I'm concerned about the date on. I would
Okay.
like to firm that up.
Oh, yeah. April, that's right, we didn't dig deep on that, did we?
Right,
So do you want to do 2 days or do you want to do a Saturday?
I'm fine with the Saturday.
I mean, you guys would all make overtime.
0 times anything.
0 times 0.
yeah.
Stacy, that was funny, I don't care.
I know, I'm just like thinking of my calendar in my head. Yeah, that's funny.
See, yeah, if we.
I
do
get
it
paid double what I
Saturday-
got yesterday. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was,
or I have to use vacation time. It's like,
I'm happy to do 2 evenings, kind of the 4 to whatever.
yeah, so the only thing, so I don't know what date you're looking at or what we're thinking, but I'm in April, are we in April?
Yeah.
We're looking at the school calendar.
I threw dates
On
out.
a Saturday, if we're talking about a Saturday, The 18th is the PSCO family dance.
Yeah, that'd be
It's
too
gonna
late.
be earlier than that.
Yeah.
So we're talking,
Before, it's the one. before.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only thing on the like district calendar, so that it comes back to individual calendars.
I am also okay with the 7th and 8th, but I am leaving town on the 9th, so I would just like to have it done before the 9th.
Well, let's hear from each board member. What's your preference? You want to do 2 days? Or you do 3 interviews on each, or do you want to do 6 interviews on a Saturday?
Well, I know we have 2 board members that have full-time jobs.
That's right.
And I want to give them more
Grace,
to
yeah.
be able to
Sure.
do what's best for them.
So you're saying you're flexible.
I'm, let's see.
Because vacation time personally.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's Saturday with your kids, Brad. I mean, my kids.
I
are-
would say,
want to
I
spend
could
Saturdays
make
with me.
either work, I prefer the Saturday.
Okay.
That's
Saturday.
perfect.
You okay on a Saturday? You'd be okay on a Saturday?
So make sure everybody-
I personally like a Saturday.
I'm fine with Saturday.
It's just it's a relaxed day. The candidates are coming and going, and we'll put up a nice schedule where we can have, breaks between. It would be nice.
Lunch break.
It also helps if we're interviewing a current superintendent, they're working from their
Yes.
current job on a Saturday. Be able to do this fully, not they're trying to sneak away.
Squeeze it in.
Yeah.
They're hiding in their office.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Yeah, sorry.
Say, so Saturday the 4th.
Excellent.
And I think we agreed on naming the sole finalist at your board meeting on April, was it 20th?
The 20th would be the final decision.
Yeah, is it, yes, the final, yeah. The sole finalist, I'm sorry, not the finalist, the sole finalist. Because the reason you call it the sole finalist
20th is the final decision.
is you have to, there's a waiting period. before
You
you
gotta,
actually-
you have to, when you name them, you gotta wait 14 days before you can do
Yeah,
yeah. There's by law, there's a 14-day wait period in there.
Okay, so after the 20th, when we've said we want this person, then there's a 14-day wait period. Got it.
Yeah.
So we are interviewing 6 or so on April 4th. Is there an announcement of the final 3 sometime between the 4th and the date of the district on the 15th?
yes. So immediately on this day, you guys will need to, we'll have a Saturday meeting scheduled, a special meeting to come out of, this really is a full day of executive session until you come out of that executive session and you say who your 3 finalists are and you name them publicly. I need a little time after you decide who your 3 finalists are to call them to say, are you in or out? You're gonna be named one of the 3 finalists, are you in or out? So that they have that final decision. And then you guys come out and it can be a very short, say, we've named our 3 finalists and here they are, boom, 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 end of meeting.
So we're in executive session all day. We do 6 interviews, we
Yep.
talk,
Yep.
we decide on 3,
Mhm.
but you're saying it's not right then we come into public.
You cannot decide on the 3 in executive session.
No.
No decisions can be made in executive session. So you gotta come out of executive session, have a public discussion on the candidates, and that's where you decide the.
Well,
But there's names involved.
yeah, you can't name, anyone except for the 3
3
finalists.
finalists.
So I think that you can come out and discuss the 3 finalists. I have to get Coulter's opinion on this. About what you can do after you've interviewed the 3. I'll find out for sure. But you need to name the 3 finalists so that we can prepare them to come for the interviews, yeah.
Sure. So
And that has to be done in public.
naming the 3 candidates in public.
Yeah, after a board discussion of the candidates. Of your three.
Where it's candidate red, candidate green.
Well, you can't come out and
yellow.
say, it's gonna be
Yeah.
here, here, and here, because then you made a decision in executive session.
Yeah.
I need to check, we need to check legal counsel.
We need to check legal counsel, because I understand that we don't make decisions in executive session, but also, if we're talking names, it has to be executive session.
It can be interview 1. interview too.
Okay. Let me check with, okay.
Okay.
Do you just want to ask Coulter that question?
I have the her legal document already.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I don't think I brought that. We all have that in the, our legal
we'll
document.
make sure, when we get there, we'll make sure we do it right. Cool.
Yeah, we have that in our legal
Sounds good.
brief.
So we will decide on the 3 on Saturday as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And announce them.
I would be careful saying we're gonna announce them on the Saturday, because this is a public meeting, and if we find different from council, that may vary.
Okay.
So I'm a little uncomfortable saying, hey, we're gonna announce them that day. I think we gotta.
And don't you have to call them before you announce?
Yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah.
so really, literally how it happens is you guys are interviewing all day,
Mhm.
and when you determine who you believe are 3 finalists, I need to call them to confirm that they want to continue the process, because their name's gonna be released publicly.
Yeah, they got
And that
it.
takes
Yeah.
5 minutes,
Okay.
to call it in, because they know they need to be on call,
Mhm.
waiting for a call from me.
Okay.
Then, we need to prepare for the finalists in day in the district, and that, there's a whole bunch that happens behind the scenes on that as well.
Okay. Cool.
And you do have to decide, and I don't have the brief in front of me, but you have to make a public announcement about who your 3 finalists
That's
are.
right.
But we can clarify that, we have time.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, so Saturday the 4th is great. Okay,
Is there any questions?
scroll down. We're almost done.
All right, 217, preparation for interviews.
Yes, we will prep you. You guys will have the opportunity to look at a bank of questions, and you will have the opportunity to say, I have my own questions. They do need to be vetted to make sure that they're legal. We have a bank
Yeah.
of large questions
Excellent.
to pick and choose from. And we'll decide how many questions each board member is gonna have and all of that, but don't worry too much about preparing you. We'll make sure you have all the information you need. And.
Is that it for that? Any questions on that? All right, 218, additional questions for discussion.
I have a question.
I guess I do have one question. So our next work session scheduled is February 10th. Do we need any information or any items for February 10th as a result of this meeting?
I don't think so right now. We have work to do to get the posting up. We have work to do to get the survey out. I need information from you about the job posting. You decided on the 140 to 160. Right? I don't think there's anything that you need from me on the head. You'll get updates though in the portal.
Okay.
So
That was my question.
I just gotta get the work done now. Along with Aaron and,
Scheduling the focus groups, that's good.
yeah. What I will do is I'll rough out a draft without dates about how I think it might work, given our conversation.
Mhm.
And then I'll call Aaron and say, let's talk about this. Will this work or not? So,
Any other questions? All right, we're going to agenda item 7, our upcoming meetings. Our next work session is February 10th, 3:30, back in this building. Moving on to agenda item 8, adjournment. Anyone make a motion to adjourn?
We adjourn. I second it.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Nice for being here tonight.
I'm having a favor to ask.
Yeah.
Can I stay in this room and take
That was
my
not the
call at
point.
6 o'clock? Or is it locked?
That was.
That was not-
Yeah.
Leave.